Alright, good evening, and welcome to the stream. We're going to continue on where we left off, which we just got done making the foundation for our building. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start working on the floor plan, and we're going to want to remove the foundation from the screen. So we just uncheck that box there, click apply, and then it disappears. By putting these markers here up, we'll know how big, where our lines need to be for our floor. And our floor is going to be made out of 2x6s. So let's go over here, and we'll select the 1x6 to create our 2x6s. So we'll pull up our toolkit, make sure we got our drawing tool, and then put right there, and we'll draw our line over here like that. Back over here, press the Alt, scroll down here like this. Let's see, that's 240 inches. So that's our 20-foot span there. Then this one here should be the 360 inch, which it is. 360 inches here. So that's our 360 inch span. So now let's go ahead and finish these other two lines, and then we'll make sure that they're 2x6s. Like that, and come over here like that. Okay, so now we have our outline of our floor. Let's go ahead and put the center beam in. So we'll start here and scroll all the way across to here, just like that. Okay, so now our floor is kind of looking like our foundation. Alright, let's go and make sure that these are, we're going to want it 2x6, so we're going to change that to 1.5 instead of 3/4, and then that's going to be 5.5 for the 6-inch side. So now we're doing a 2x6. So we'll go ahead and click OK, and then there's our 2x6 right there. And we'll just let's get off of that. Okay, highlight, press enter. We'll change this to 1.5. That's a 2x6. Enter. Change this fill to 1.5. Click there. Enter. Change this to 1.5. And then we come down here, do the same thing. Alright, so now we have 2x6s all the way around. So let's go ahead and click save, and then we can go into 3D mode and just see our 2x6s. We can move and just make sure everything looks good. Alright, we're looking good so far. Yeah, right here I'm not on the this far end over here. I'm not going to worry about this. Same thing, this board here will actually be butted up against this board here, so in the drawing I'm not going to really worry about that too much. Okay, so now let's go back to 2D mode, and then we're going to be putting the floor joists on 16-inch centers. So we're going to have quite a few 2x6s going across, so we can come down here to wood and see our wood that we have currently. Alright, so let's start up here at the top. I'm going to pull up a calculator here to help with figuring all this out. So what I do is I come over here and I highlight this board here, because we're going to start on this side and we're going to work our way across to this other side here, putting a 2x6 at every 16-inch center. Okay, so now what we need to do, since we got this board here highlighted, we come over here to our I'm not sure what window this is, but anyway, come over here, look at the dimensions of this board, and it looks like we are at 72. We can find that out real quick. Come in here, type in 72, and then add 16 to it. So then our next board should be at 88. So now I'm not going to be putting 20-foot boards. I'm going to be using 10-foot boards butting up against this board here. So we're going to do the this top here. So we're going to grab our drawing tool and we're going to come over. Each one of these squares is 12 inches. So we're going to come into here about like right in here. Let's hold down the Alt key and see if we can line. No, it's going to line up there. That's not what we want. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete that board, because that is not what we want. So let's undo that. I didn't think that would work. So we'll just scroll up like that. We'll put it about right here, and we move it up, and we go nice, make sure it's a straight line, and there we go. So now it's showing a 1x6. So we're gonna change this to where we don't have to keep going in here and making this change the 1.5 by 5.5 to make it a 2x6 like that. So what we're going to do is we come over here to File, go down to Settings, and then we go down here into the wood. We select the 1x6, and then we change it here to 1.5, and then hit OK. So now our next new line should be a 2x6 instead of a 1x6. Alright. Alright, so let's see. So this board here is 121 inches. So we're 1 inch too long, so let's go ahead and change that to 120 for 10 feet. So that's what we're going to want, is a 10-foot board, and then we'll have to move it up just a little bit. We can zoom in to make sure that that's where we need that board. Alright, so then we had 72. So this one here was sitting at 72. So now this board here should be at 88. So we select it, and as you see right here, this X and then this X up here are both at 87 inches. So what we can do to move it over an inch is we'll just use our little arrow keys and we'll move it over. We'll probably have to zoom in to really get this to where we can get the 1/32 off. Actually, we could actually instead of doing it that way, let's try well, if we do it this way, we'll have to make sure we do it both to the top X, or the green X, and the red X, because the red X and the green X are the endpoints of the line. So this one here, if we highlight this one here, see how it had the little circle? So this is the green side, the other end of the board is going to be the red side, and then we type in 88 and we should be good to go. So now that's sitting at 88 inches. Alright, I'll have to move it up just a little bit. Okay, so that should be good. Yeah, alright, so that's looking good. So now, instead of keep drawing these lines, what we're going to do is we're going to pull up our toolkit. We're going to grab this copy tool, and we're just going to grab this line here, and we're going to drag it over here like this. It copies, creates a new board, and then we're going to do the same thing. We'll drop it. That's the 3-foot mark. So this one here we're going to want at the full 4-foot mark, and then we're going to go back to the select tool and move this over just a little bit like that. So now this board here was at 88. Pull up our calculator and add 16. So now our next board should be at 104 inches. So this one here should be at 104, and we're close. We're at 103. So 104, and then change it here to 104, and boom, now we're done. And then we come to here. That one there should be at 120. If we add 16 to that, it should be 120. So then, as you see, we're at 120 inches. Pretty cool. Alright, so now we're just keep doing this all the way across. So we'll pull up our toolkit, grab our copy tool, and we'll just drag this one over. Make sure that we are touching our line like we're supposed to, and we just keep grabbing and dragging our line across, just like that. So this one here was 120. Our next one should be at 136. So that's 120. We'll get our pointer back so we don't make any mistakes here. So we're at 120. So then this one here should be at 136. We're just so close. So we'll change that to 136. And we'll change this one here to 136. And there we go. Alright, so now pull up our calculator, add 16. Should be the 136, add 16. 152. So now this board here should be at 152. We're 2 inches off. So 152. No, we don't get rid of that. Okay, 152. Like that. Sweet. Okay. And then our next board should be at 168. at 16, 168. And that one there should be close to, right on, because we're going every 4 foot. You put one, so that's just the way it comes out, which is pretty cool. Alright, so we'll just keep going on until we get to the end. So we'll pull up our tool, grab our copy tool, slide over, we can keep drawing our lines here. So that one there, 168. Okay. And plus 16. 184. So this one here should be at 184. And we're at 83. 184. And 184. Plus 16, 200. So this one here should be at 200, and it is. Sweet. So then this one here should be at 216, and it is. Cool. So we're going to have this knocked out pretty quick, which is pretty cool. Alright, so we're at 216 is where we're at, so let's add a 16. Then we add another 16, so it should be 236 or 232. So we come over here, highlight, we're at 231, so we just change this to 232. And 232. That's just like that. Let's move our object list. Actually, we can drop that out. We can pull it back very quick. Let's slide this over, and as you see, these windows here, or these lines here, are off quite a bit, so we'll just lower them down a little bit. Grab this one here. Come on. Let's drop it down like that. Sweet. Alright, so now that one there is at 216, and we're at 232, so this one here should be at 232, and then we're on this one now. So let's go up here. It should be 248. Okay, and we are at 248. And then we add another 16. And 264. So then that one there should be at 264. Okay, we'll grab our copy tool and copy some more lines. And I've got the snap to grid feature on, so it should help. Nope. Grab our copy tool. It should help a little bit with lining these boards up. Alright, so now this is the last one we did, was this one here. 264. Right? Yeah, 264 plus 16. So 280. Highlight that one. Should be at 280, and we're at 278. So 280. $280. Okay. So it should be 296. We're at 294. So 296. Change that one to 296. Okay. And then that one there should be 312. So let's add 16 and 312. Okay. So we're getting pretty close to the end here. There we are right there. So we'll drag this over like that. Oop, let's see. This is getting all kind of out of whack a little bit. Alright. So let's go ahead and grab our copy tool. And we drag our line over. Drag our line over. Oop, don't drop it down too much. And drag our line over. And we can, let's see if we can finish this up. So we're probably going to need another one like right in here. So we're going to be slightly off a short piece in here, which is, I think, typical. It's just because we're 30 feet across on our length, and I think that's what's throwing us off. It doesn't quite come out. Alright, so this one here should be 360. We should be at, let's see, plus 16, 228, plus 16. Let's go back here. 312. And then 328 is our next. Next number, 328. Almost got ahead of myself here. 328. Okay, and this one here should be at 344, which is right on. Sweet. And then that one there's 360, so that's where we should be. Plus 16, 360. Yeah, so we're getting pretty dang close to getting this side done. Then we got to do the same thing to the bottom. Let's see, 375 plus 16. Oop. That's not right. So let's clear that. 360 plus 16. 376. So 376 and 376. Then jump on this one. We add 16. 392. Ooh, we're a little bit too much. So 392 and 392. Okay. And then should be 408 plus 16. 408. Okay, that's good. At 16 and 424. 424 and 424. There. So now that's all done. Cool. So we can zoom out. And that's what our floor plan looks like so far. Now we just got to come over here and do the bottom half the same way. But we won't have to figure out the distances. All we do is just copy and just, it'll be a lot faster. So we'll just kind of zoom in a little bit, move this over, scroll down just a little. Oh, there we go. That's cool. We'll zoom in a little more. Alright. So now we'll grab our copy tool. We'll grab this guy and we'll just drag him down. I don't know, we're not quite lined up. Alright, so we look good there. And we look good there. Alright, so let's we'll zoom in a little bit. Grab our copy tool. And we'll just grab a line. Come over, drop. And move this one over. Drop. See, this side here is going to be a lot faster now. Alright, so now these are showing up here a little wrong there. Okay, there we go. There we go. Getting a little goofy there. Alright. Grab a copy tool. See, this one here is gonna, I don't know why this program does this every once in a while, but it gets a little out of whack, so we kind of have to bring it back into I think I'm gonna let the developer know, because that is a little annoying. I think it just happens because we're zoomed in. But I could be wrong. Okay, one more. And now we're done. Okay, so now comes the fun part. Because now no matter what we did, we're gonna have to spend a little more time on this. We could have done it the other way, but I think it's a little tedious. So what we'll do is we'll come over here to our layer and we'll turn on our foundation layer and we'll apply. So now we have our foundation and our floor joists on the screen at the same time. So let's go ahead and let's save it, and then we can go into 3D mode. So now if you look at this, what's going on is our floor is basically right in the middle of our foundation. So what we have to do is we have to raise all those boards up. It looks like we're going to have to move them up probably 2 inches, maybe, is what it's kind of looking like. We can try it, see what it looks like, but we're going to have to raise each one of those boards. So now what we'll do is we'll go back into our layer, go to the foundation, take it out, apply. So now it's just our floor. So we'll highlight our line and we'll go to the Z, which is this guy, and we'll raise it 2 inches. We'll try 2 inches right now. Well, hold on, let's see, we got measurements. Let's see, floor on top of floor. Okay, so alright, I started with on top of the floor, so this is our walls. So our walls will be 7 inches. So let's go ahead and put that back to the back. So we'll try this out at 2 inches and see what it looks like. So we have to do both ends of our line, and if we go into 3D, it's this one. Oh, let's go back to 2D. Turn our foundation back on so we can see if we are doing anything. Alright, so let's move over here and we'll spin it around. Oop. Alright, let's see, that's up and down. Yeah, we're gonna have to go up a little more. Why isn't this working the way I want it to? Always fun. Alright, so there we go. So it's kind of spinning a little bit, but not like I want it to. Alright, so we'll have to go up a little more because we're quite not there yet. Alright, so let's go back to 2D. We got the line that we have selected. So let's try 4 inches. It's probably going to be too much, but let's give it a try and see what it comes out to, what it'll look like. At this point, we just kind of play. Oh, there we go. That's looking pretty good. Doesn't look. Alright, I think we're too high. Alright, so let's go back to 2D and we'll drop this down to 3 inches. Go back into 2D. I don't know we actually doing anything. Just check and see if there's any gaps or anything. There we go. Alright, so it's kind of looking like it's right where we need it to be, I guess. Alright, let's bring a couple more boards up to that same height and see. But before we do that, let's get rid of our foundation so we don't mess that up. And let's just do this board here. We'll raise it up to 3 inches. Okay, go back into 3D. Oop. Actually, let's Alright, let's do a couple more boards and see what that looks like, but let's go ahead and turn the foundation off. Let's do this one here. So we'll move it up 3 inches. Now, one thing I could try, I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. I'm gonna try to select multiple boards, like we'll do these 2 boards here. Yeah, see, it's not gonna give us the where we need to be. Oh, that's because that one there was already. So let's do these 2. Let's do these 2, see what happens. Yeah, see, it's got that. Okay, that's not looking right. This was a tedious part, but that's alright. We'll get her done. Guess we could have done this when we copied each board, but no matter what we've done, it's still gonna take a while to either draw it or do this, so it really doesn't matter. Oop. I don't want that extra little thing in there because that'll throw us all off. And it might take us a while to figure out what the hell happened. Alright. That's why I like putting these in different layers, so we're not dealing with all the other boards or lines depending on what we're doing. We're almost there. Okay, a couple more boards and we'll be done with this top part, and then we'll have to do the bottom. And what we're changing is the Z location of the endpoints on our line, which is our board. Change that one. Alright, so now if we save it, should be good. And then we come back in here, turn on our foundation, apply it, go into 3D, and now it's looking like our floor is on top of our foundation. Pretty cool. Oh, let's not do that. Let's see, pretty cool. But as you see right here, there's our 4x4, and then there's our 2x4, or 2x6, our 2x6, and our 4x4. So it looks like we'll have to raise it up a little more, because it looks like our floor joists are still going into 4x4s. So alright, let's that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Let's go back to 4. Let's do 5. See what that does. Yeah, see, we're quite, I think we're up just a little too high. with 5 inches. Yeah, see how you can see right in here. You can see the 2x6s. So 5 inches is too high. So it looks like we'll have to drop it down probably a 1/2 inch. So let's try that. See, 4.5. So this is just gonna make it a little longer, but that's alright. There we go. That's what we want. That's looking better. Yeah, that's looking better. Looking better. Alright, so now come the fun part. We gotta go back to all those lines and add some more height to them. So we're at 4.5, so that's gonna suck. So 4 and 1/2, a lot more typing, but that's alright. It is what it is. Because even if we draw these lines individually, we'd have to do it at that time, or we can do this at this point, so it really doesn't matter. I'm sure there's probably an easier and quicker way of doing this. I'm still kind of learning the software, and I probably haven't figured it out. I haven't figured it all out yet, so I'm sure that there's probably an easier way. I was kind of hoping we can select the whole thing and raise it all. Well, it's probably too late for that because we already started. We did try selecting multiple and it didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. So we'll just keep going this way, I guess. Now, one thing that's really cool with this program is, let's say I wanted to print this out. Well, there's a whole bunch of different scales I can print this out at. And one of them is I can print this out to where it will be 20 feet by 30 feet. And each one of these boards will be 10 feet long. These other ones, like this one here, will be 30 feet long. and it will actually be 30 feet long on the drawing. It just takes a lot of pieces of paper to print it out that big, unless you got a plotter, or you can go to a FedEx store and use one of their big plotters. Now this program does export files to, I think it's DXF file format, I think, which I think you can use for plotters, I think, or something like that. But that's what's pretty cool, is you could either print this out on a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, or you can go full size. It all depends on what you're wanting. Which is pretty cool, especially when it comes time to doing the layout, and you want to lay your track. You could actually print out your layout in full cell or full scale, and then lay the track down on top of your bench work. And you could even do it with the bench work too, as you can lay the plan out on a piece of board, like a piece of plywood or whatever, and you can cut the board to your plan, and then when it comes time to laying track, you could actually tape or glue the this plan down and actually lay your track right on top of the drawing, and you can get it exact, which is pretty cool. We'll probably do that when we get to that point, but we're quite a ways from actually doing that, because right now I'm going to be working on the plan for the building, and then as soon as we're done with that, we'll turn my plan into the county, and then we'll if they accept it, then we can build it. We'll get the permit, and I don't think we'll have any issues getting the permit, or I don't foresee any issues, but we'll have to see when that time comes. But right now we're working on the plans for the building, and then once we get that done, then we'll start working on the plans for the layout, and that will actually include the bench work that will support our track, and it's going to be a multi-layer layout. So it'll have two layers, plus the mountain pass is going to go up and over the door of the building. So the mountain pass is actually going to be the full size of the building, which is going to be pretty cool, I think. That's the plan anyway, but we'll have to see what happens. Because we might be making some changes, you never know. 4.5 and 4.5. It's not too long. 4.5 and 4.5. Alright, so now we're done with the top. So let's go ahead and save this. We'll add our foundation, and then we'll go into 3D mode and see what we look like so far. Pretty cool. It's looking really good. Yeah. Alright. Sweet. Alright, let's go back to 2D. We'll turn off the foundation layer. So let's go ahead and uncheck it. Apply. That way we're not dealing with all that crap. And come down here and drive on with this one. So these boards are gonna be 4.5 as well. 4.5, 4, 1/2. Yeah, so when we get all this done, it'll look really pretty cool, I think. Yeah, I'm sure watching this step by step is probably not the greatest. But we're getting her done. 4, 1/2. And the cool thing is everybody gets to see the process on how we got from plans to the actual layout. And then once we get to start running trains, we'll do some operations and all that kind of fun stuff. And when I've been on YouTube, I haven't really seen any videos that actually go through and walk through step by step on how to do this. So it's another reason why we're kind of recording and streaming this. So if somebody happens to stumble by and actually learn something, that's pretty cool. So we're getting there, pretty close to almost done with this part, and then we can start working on the walls. Alright. So that's 4.5. That's 4.5. That's 4.5. We're looking good. Looking good in the neighborhood. Alright. So now, looks like this one here needs to be moved over just a bit. There we go. Yeah, I noticed that these bottom ones aren't quite on the number. Just a little off. We're just hitting the arrow key once and that's popping it where it needs to be, so we'll just do that to the rest of these. Oh. Oh man. Undo. I hit the delete button. That's funny. I was like, what happened to my board? It disappeared. Alright, last one. There. I'm going to come up here, save it, zoom out. Oh, that's too much. Okay, so that's our floor with our floor joists. And then we'll come up here, put our foundation back in, save it, go to 3D, and there we go. We have our floor joists on top of our foundation. Sweet. Looking pretty good. Alright, so now we'll go out of 3D. We're going to leave our markers where they're at. But this time we are going to turn off our foundation and our floor. Oh, we can't turn off our floor because our floor is selected, so we'll select our walls. Oh, alright. We'll have to go in, make our walls visible. Now we can go up and select our walls, go back in and remove our floor. Just like that. Alright. So now for our walls, we're going to build them out of 2x4s. Same thing with 16-inch centers.